All right, welcome back, fellow TFFL owners. It is a special pre-draft edition of the TFFL Webcast. We have a special guest tonight for the first time this offseason. We're 8 days away for some of us from heading down to Myrtle Beach. 10 days away from the draft. Let me introduce our panel. We'll get right to it. We're going to talk about keepers. We're going to talk about a mock draft 1 through 12. A lot of talk about those top 5 picks and what order they'll go in. But first, our commissioner, skipper of the Sponge Fishermen, Chief.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Chief has been one of our more active traders of late. We'll see what happens as we head down toward the keeper deadline here. Hank, czar and CEO of the K-Wheels.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here. Football season. Woohoo!
I know the K-Wheels have a lot of tough keeper decisions. We'll talk about those tonight.
Sure.
Berto, Jack's Giant Killers, looking to reclaim the title this year. Welcome.
Thank you, Stick. I was looking forward to this webcast. It's been a while.
Indeed. And our special guest, the head cheese of the Hormel Hams, Michael.
Good to be back. Always nice to go over some preseason, pre-draft picks and see what everybody's thinking.
All right. Before we get into anything, of course, actually we've got 2 special segments before we get into anything. Let's start with the trivia question. A special request trivia question. We do take requests here.
Was this from the mailbag?
This one actually came in person. This was not a mailbag. We will, however, get to the treasure chest.
Okay.
Later on. So our special request trivia question: when was the last time the Senators, who went 4-9 last year in 2016, and often are drafting toward the top of the draft, when was the last time the Senators had a winning record? How far back do you have to go?
So you want the year or how many years, or what are you looking for?
We can do the math either way.
Okay.
We're looking for
This is 2017.
yeah, we have not had the playoffs. So the last possible is 2016, right?
Sure.
So how far back from there?
Yep.
I mean, we can't look, right?
No looking.
No.
No, come on, no.
I already know.
Is this just a one-parter?
This is just a one-parter tonight. Whoever requested this did not think of a multiple-part question. All right, and I promised the TFFL treasure chest, a special gift for our guest tonight. Michael, I'm going to reach in here for you. Let's get you a gift that I can deliver tomorrow night at our annual pre-draft dinner.
2 nights. Not tomorrow night.
Card from Reese.
Friday night.
I've got a Calvin Johnson mini fathead for you.
Nice.
Hey, congratulations.
You never know what you're going to find in the treasure chest. All right.
Good prize.
Okay, one last segment. I'm going to turn it over to Chief here before we get to our chatter. Lots of key dates and reminders coming up. Tell everybody what they need to know.
Thanks, Dick. Today is August 30th. It's a Wednesday, which means you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Get your dues paid, get your keeper decisions in. I know for a fact at least half the leagues paid dues, which is good. There's probably been 3 or 4 more that I don't know about. So hopefully that won't be an issue. I got sent the first keeper list of the season today. I guess someone's pretty confident they're not going to be doing any trading. Obviously, you can always update your keeper list, but this I don't ever remember getting one this early before. So get it to me.
Probably the Sens, right?
What was that?
Was it the Sens?
It wasn't the Sens, no.
I'm going to say the Beavers.
Yours would be a good guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, Thornburg's like
Mine was 2.
So that's the pressing deadline. That's the next thing on the calendar. Assuming you've already done that, the draft the drive down to the draft or fly down to the draft. We're looking at next Thursday or Friday, depending on your getaway. So, shore up the logistics of getting there. Make sure somebody can get you from the airport. Make sure somebody knows when you're flying in. I think the cavalry, not cavalry, that's what I'm looking for. The convoy down from DC is pretty much set. We'll double, triple, quadruple check that. But I think we have that worked out. Michael, how are you getting to the draft?
I'm still undecided.
And Michael, are you coming Thursday? Have we verified this?
Yes, I will be there Thursday.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Very good.
But you're not playing golf with us on Friday, right?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Mike will hold down the house.
Beautiful.
Maybe figure out how he's getting back to DC.
No, I think I have that locked down too. I'll be with Phil and Nick.
You're running back with us on Sunday morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are going back Sunday morning?
We have no choice. I got to be back on Sunday because Kate's leaving for Africa. The next morning, so I got to be here.
So you're going back with Nick, correct?
Yeah, I'm not even driving. First time I think ever. I am not driving. I am riding with Nick on the way down, with Nick on the way back.
Okay.
Yeah, but are we taking your car?
If you want to, sure.
I thought that was the play.
Yeah,
Doesn't
if you
matter.
want to take my car, we certainly can.
That seems to be the play. But not to get sidetracked. So those are things to look forward to. Looking forward to an outstanding draft weekend. We're going to a restaurant again for the first time in 3 years. The league is overwhelmingly for that. I think Richie has already picked a place out, and I'm sure that's the kind of thing he's good at. So I'm fine with that. So let's get moving on.
Being in charge of reservation and restaurant is a good thing. So that's fine.
One other reminder I wanted to just make people aware of week 1 Thursday night starters, Chief.
Oh, thank you, Stick. Yeah, Patriots, Chiefs. If you're planning on start one and they're on your roster right now, lock them in.
And I'm sorry, do we have a time for the keepers on Saturday or?
No. Usually people are good about getting them early because they want the list out there.
Okay.
So, if you can get them by noon, great. If you can get them by 9, go ahead and do it. I'll release them at noon.
Okay.
So after this webcast, I'll probably send my keepers in, Chief, and I will copy the league. I would encourage everybody to do the same. It's always kind of nice to track those as they come in, but some people always want to make it a secret. But
yeah,
share them if you're so inclined, please.
And, you brought up the Thursday night game. I thought of something else. Now I lost it again.
Good to know that happens for lots of people.
I might think of it again. I'm sure it wasn't of earth-shattering importance.
All right, let's get into our roundtable discussion. Quick, some news and notes to cover from the NFL. A lot of injury news. We'll touch upon what it means for TFFL keeper lists, draft boards. Spencer Ware, Nick. I told Phil today I wasn't sure if Nick is up to speed. I think he watches the webcast. So Nick, Spencer Ware injured out for the year. The Devils had kind of an okay keeper list, maybe.
No, they didn't.
This is Nick's only news source besides the magazine that he keeps in the shed.
Right. So Nick was going to be keeping 2 quarterbacks anyway. He might have been trying to find a way not to do that, but losing Spencer Ware makes that all the tougher. Julian Edelman out for the year for the Boba Fats. I think what that means there is they're probably keeping a quarterback where maybe they weren't going to before. We'll talk about that in a minute, which quarterback the Fats might be keeping. And then 2 others I thought I'd bring up, Cameron Meredith, Quincy Enunwa. Both have gone out for the year, so we lose 2 good veteran receivers that were out there in the draft. I don't know how much Cameron Meredith's injury breaks anybody's heart out there, but I thought he was a nice play who was going to be there in the second or third round.
I think Kramer mentioned that Cameron Meredith may have been a keeper for him, and honestly, I think he would have been a early second-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's it's substantial.
Mm-hmm. I hadn't thought of him as a keeper, but yeah, for the Sens maybe. Okay, so let's go through some TFFL keeper conundrums. There's a lot of them. I think when we send out the webcast, when we're done here, we'll send around my projected keeper list that we'll base our mock draft on. But I suspect I'm going to get a fair number of those keeper projections wrong. Let's start perhaps alphabetically or just with me. The aliens. I've been going back and forth for the last month. LeGarrette Blount, Ben Roethlisberger, Devontae Parker, Jonathan Stewart. Two of those guys have got to go.
I've given you my thoughts, so I'll let other guys talk. But I think you're fine going without QB and Jonathan Stewart's and another running back. And I know you like Parker, so I have no problem with how you got it written up.
Yeah, I second that. I think what you have is what you go with. A lot of negative news on Blunt, frankly, at an Eagles camp. But
yeah,
went to the source on that too.
Yeah, you're right. You got to look at the source. But so you hear like 3 negative stories, and then somebody comes out and says he's going to be a big part of the offense. But I think even if you get 50% of what you got from Blunt last year, you'll take 9 TDs.
Right.
Sure, right?
Yep.
So I think that's a no-brainer. And then, being the only team not keeping a quarterback, that's great. Last year was a different situation. There was some competition for other people who didn't keep a quarterback. So it was more of an issue. So free game this year. So I don't see any issue with your keeper list. I think what you had sent out is what it should and will be.
And what I sent out has me answering that question with Devontae Parker and LeGarrette Blount. But I've been going back and forth with Jonathan Stewart and Devontae Parker, trying to find some trade value maybe for one of them.
It's just, I don't want to hammer this too hard, but going back to LeGarrette Blount and how bad of a offseason is he having? How bad of a preseason is he having? I have read in the last 2 weeks everything from Smallwood does not make the 53 to Smallwood leads the team in carries this year.
Yeah.
So you don't know. Stick. Just my quick 2 cents. It's hard for me to see you keeping Stewart.
Me too.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Me too.
Yeah.
Now is the time to cut the cord.
I think you got to. I know you love him.
Because we have a first going on this website as of right now. Jonathan Stewart is no longer an alien. Jonathan Stewart is a sponge fisherman.
Oh, he is.
Really?
We have a trade.
The sponge sent a 2018 number 3 pick for Stewart and a number 9 pick in 2018.
Wow.
So a swap of 3rd and 9th for Stewart
in 2018. Yep.
Next year.
Yep. Which makes my keeper conundrum a little less of a conundrum.
Jeez. Bravo, gentlemen. Bravo.
Very low cost. Good value for Stick. Why not? That's great.
You know what? The trade be damned. I'm just happy you actually made a trade on the webcast. I couldn't be prouder of you.
That's great. So then, wait. Then what does that do to the sponge? Are you going to let go of Golden Tate?
Yeah. Golden Tate will in all likelihood not be on the sponge on the 2nd. I think there's a pretty good chance he will be on the sponge on the 9th. But he's not slated to be a keeper.
Got it.
All right, let's move on to the Boba Fats.
I want to get my 2 cents in here.
Yeah, please do. I'm sorry, Michael.
Yeah, that's right.
Not used to having a guest.
I think it's kind of I'm never a fan of 4 wide receivers, so especially not the group that you have assembled here. But I mean, Watkins, Robinson, Parker, not all that great. I mean, why wouldn't you, at this point, why wouldn't you go out and trade for somebody? Is there nothing out there that's better than what you have?
Golden Tate's available.
Brandon Marshall's available. Let's make a trade. Let's make another one.
I mean, I would like trading for a quarterback.
I'm gonna have my pick of good quarterbacks in the draft. I see a lot of upside in Devontae Parker, a lot of upside in Sammy Watkins.
You have Jay Cutler throwing him the ball?
Jay Cutler has made Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey very happy.
Actually, Parker's catching a lot of balls right now from Cutler.
Mhm.
I think Parker up and Landry down.
Up until a few days ago, I was going to keep the 4 running backs. I was going to keep Jonathan Stewart. I was happy with 4 running backs. Yeah, I think Parker's upside is huge. I think Jonathan Stewart's upside is fairly limited. It's nice to have a guy you can get a few carries out of. But, Jordy Nelson is getting up there in age. There are question marks with Sammy Watkins. Allen Robinson looked terrible with Blake Bortles last year, so I'm happy to have 4 guys there. You need receivers who are going to score a lot of points.
The other thing too about Allen Robinson, he's going to be a free agent next year. So.
Yeah, I actually said that to Phil at one point. That's I'm hoping he's in a better destination next year.
Yeah, I mean they could. He's a UFA next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so he'll be out of. One of 2 things will happen: he'll be out of there, or they'll have a new quarterback. So.
Yeah,
I have no
I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy about this team. Sorry.
Four receivers. I don't love that either, but I think it's good when 4 receivers is fine when you have 3 running backs and no competition for anyone taking a quarterback. So it'd be different.
I'm a Greg Olsen.
I could have kept Zach Ertz if I wanted to keep a tight end.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm not sure it's an apples to apples comparison, but moving on.
Yes. So let's move on to Boba Fats. I hinted at this earlier. They are now likely to keep a quarterback, but the question is which one. We've had this debate a couple times before. Quickly, Carson Wentz or Matt Stafford.
Well, before we get this, and again, he's got a lot of wide receivers that are kind of in the same tier. Even losing, Edelman. You have Macklin there. You have Crabtree there. You have Sanders there. They're all basically the same kind of guy. I'm surprised you have Darren Sproles on there. So I think he's going to get. And it's kind of funny. He's 35. I think he may have been a TFFL keeper once, but. He's a guy who I think is going to lead the Eagles in touches this year. And the Eagles fan can correct me.
No way.
I think he'll probably be the first veteran running back off the board in the draft. No,
I don't.
No way.
Not going to go before
No
Lynch.
way.
Not gonna go before Montgomery. I'm sorry about that.
Marshawn Lynch, Adrian Peterson.
It's going to go high.
Not early.
Slightly surprised if Rod doesn't keep him. Other than that, I have Macklin being kept over Crabtree or ever Sanders, but again, that's a toss-up to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess in the same way the aliens aren't keeping a quarterback. I mean, why is he keeping a quarterback? Why not Riddick or even Woodhead?
It's a good question. How comfortable is Rob not keeping a quarterback? Not many people ever do that.
I don't know. I mean, guys, we're talking about Darren Sproles. I mean, This isn't a PPR league. This is a PD dependent league. Darren Sproles, no way. I don't see it. Not a chance. Theo Riddick.
What happened there? We have Max Headroom in the room. Wow, that's awesome. Bro, you gotta do something about that.
That's not me.
Berto, what do you close out?
Who is that? Michael, is that you? Everybody one time. There it is. First chance. It's Michael.
Michael. Sorry, Chief. I was blaming you.
I was all locked up as I had frozen all across the board. I had the audio, unfortunately.
How do I unmute him? He can unmute himself.
You know, looking at the roster.
Michael, once you get it fixed, you can unmute yourself.
Can I just finish my point, Chief? And then you
Sorry, go ahead. Yes. Yeah, no. He's been muted.
So Darren Sproles in our league, man. I don't see it.
Three
No
touchdowns?
way.
Yeah.
He's not going to get me.
What
That's
happened?
what I think of your point.
All right. What happened?
Maybe it's Berto.
Is it Berto? Michael has to unmute himself. Bye.
That's hilarious.
So it's so rough.
Mike, you may as well get out and get back in.
This is live television, live webcasting. And we have Berto on freeze, and we have Michael on not a chance. So yeah.
Chief, you were saying?
Yeah, we had the three of us. Chief, how do you feel about this? The no quarterback, Carson Wentz, Matt Stafford.
I have him keeping Wentz, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me if you went for the extra receiver instead. For the same reason, Stick's probably not going to keep a quarterback.
Yes. I
think they're going to be quarterbacks as good as Stafford or Wentz in the draft, and including Stafford and Wentz.
How is that possible, Michael?
I find this so funny.
No. How is that happening?
From now on, Mike talks to the whiteboard.
Yeah. All right. So you're saying that you think he's going to keep Wentz, and that you're okay with that?
If he was an Eagles fan, I don't think he would. But I think it's kind of exciting to have a quarterback of your team with a lot of upside. But again, he's somebody who can probably get in the draft in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah, I agree. He doesn't have to do it. If he wants to, if he's willing to roll the dice and getting Wentz back, I think he can definitely reacquire him.
Again,
but he's got to decide how comfortably he's going in without a quarterback.
That's exactly it. You got to feel comfortable knowing that the guy you want is going to be available where you have a draft pick to use.
Yeah.
I've done this before. I
and
know
you might have to be willing to do it around before everybody else would. If you figure, hey, 3rd, 4th round is about when people start making the runs on quarterbacks, and if he wants to make sure he gets Wentz, he'll have to do it, maybe at the end of the 2nd or the top of the 3rd.
I've got extra picks. I don't know what the fat status is there. Yeah, I mean all these things come into play.
So the other thing I mentioned, I don't know, before I cut out, the emotional factor with Wentz too. Does Fats hold him because he's an Eagles fan? That'd kind of be fun for the next however many years Wentz is going to be there, hopefully a long time.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
There's something to that as well. And, that's fun. I mean, he could have him for a long time on his fantasy team and an Eagles fan. That's great stuff. But so that's got to sway the decision a bit.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a reasonable homer pick. I'd do it.
The next team I want to talk about briefly is the Lizards, and I don't think there's much of a debate here. The two guys I've got them leaving off are Adrian Peterson and Greg Olson. Tell me if you guys have any quibbles with that.
None.
No, and Richie's confirmed as much to me.
His choices aren't that shaky. I mean, he's got 7.
He's got a great team.
There's no choices to make.
But here's my question. Has anybody heard from the Lizards or gotten a sense that they are trying to trade Peterson or Olson?
I know that T.Y. Hilton is available in trade.
For the right price, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as those people on that keeper list there, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
He's comfortable with keeping Olson if he can get a good return, you know. Unfortunately, with Luck being, out for at least being of the season, I think Ty is probably not going to get the return you would need to pull a trigger on him.
I'd be kind of surprised if Adrian Peterson ends up staying in our draft. Somebody I feel like is going to see enough value in him at a weak
I don't even think he's a
veteran running back position. Chief?
I said I don't really think Peterson's a first-round pick if he goes in the draft, let alone a keeper. Could the Devils use him? Yes, of course.
That's my point. Yeah,
upgrade Devils roster. The Senators aren't going to pay anything for him because it doesn't really help the team. Actually, doesn't help the Devils either. But yeah, I think those are the two buyers right now. I've been looking for a running back for about a week and a half, and a couple of you guys know it because I've talked to you about acquiring a running back. And it's hard, but it never once crossed my mind. To inquire about Adrian Peterson, for whatever that's worth.
I think Adrian. I agree with Chief though. I don't think he's a first round pick.
Berto?
No, I was just going to say I agree with Chief that I don't think Adrian Peterson is a first-round pick. He's somewhere in the second. I'd say the first 3 or 4 picks in the second, but not in the first.
And that's fine. I'm a little surprised somebody isn't going to try to make a play for him. But again, the people we're talking about, Nick may not be that aggressive. So who knows? We'll see.
Well, you got to think about the team like this. I mean, I think Kramer realizes where he's at, and I think he would say, "Why the hell would I trade for Adrian Peterson? It does, he's not a guy that I'm going to keep next year. He's just 1 year older. It's not a long-term play, and it makes no sense for him." So, yeah, and then you're down to the Devils. Thinking about making a trade. So it could be the Devils, but that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Hank?
No, I agree. I don't see either of those teams trading for a running back who's really like a piece of a larger team. He's not a building block at this point in his career.
Okay. Let me throw a quick wrinkle in this. It wasn't in my outline, but let's talk about the Senators. You brought them up. You're talking about the trade market. I commented to Chief today in an email that for all of the texts that we have all gotten from the Senators over the last month, Kramer could count them up. I'm guessing he has sent literally hundreds, if not, or at least dozens of texts. For all of that,
I think he's over 100.
He may hit the keeper deadline with the same 7 guys, the same roster he's had, for the last 3 months. Yeah. I don't sense he's pulling off a trade anytime soon, but I could be wrong.
I don't think
he will. I think he will. I think before the trade deadline, he's going to pull something off. Even if it's bargain basement prices, he's got to pull something off before the trade deadline.
Do you want to talk about his keeper list?
Yeah. What do you got, Chief? What do you think about his keeper list?
There is no way you can justify having TJ Yeldon on a keeper list. I don't care if we have a 10-person keeper list. All right. So either you got to replace him, but here's the guy sticking. You just might have missed him because he's not even also in the conversation thing. What about Jacquizz Rodgers? You got 4 guaranteed starts out of him to start the season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then Doug Martin hasn't been the most durable guy, or the most in favor with the coaching staff kind of guy. Jacquizz could potentially take that job and run with it, or carve a decent role based on the strength of those 4 games. I think the Senators, that's the guy you want.
I don't know. Maybe he was on IR. Maybe I overlooked him on the. Yeah, that's a fair call.
Mm-hmm.
Again, maybe not somebody that a rebuilding Senators team wants to keep, but you're right. Do you really want to keep TJ Yeldon?
Yeah, is Jacquizz Rodgers a better keeper than Adrian Peterson? No, they're the same kind of keeper.
You mean in regards of being an older kind of guy who
you're not going to build around?
Yeah,
nice games this year.
TJ Yeldon was their great new hope 2 years ago, who they've already placed as a great new hope.
Yeah.
Based on his body of work.
Hey, just going back to Adrian Peterson for a second. Look for a nostalgia pick by the Lizards in round 2 for AP.
I don't think he makes it that far.
Bringing him back into the fold. Didn't he trade for? Does he have an earlier? No, he's got an early.
The Lizards are at number 12.
Right. Didn't they trade up? Don't they have an earlier second? No, they have an earlier first. Never mind.
They have the 4th and the 12th overall. Yeah.
Yeah. 12th overall. That's.
I feel pretty confident that Peterson will not make it out of the first.
I could see, now that I'm thinking about it, AP to the Lizards at 12 is a distinct possibility.
Go up 2 picks from that. And go up 2 picks from that. And I think you have a lot of options.
And there's a lot of people who might be willing to take Adrian Peterson now. So.
Okay, let's talk about the K-Wheels.
Sure.
I think there are a fair number of keeper options. They're not all great, but there's some interesting options. I think the guys we're talking about are Wendell Smallwood,
right?
Jamal Charles, Sterling Shepard, Marvin Jones, Devontae Booker maybe in that conversation.
Well, he would be if he weren't hurt.
You have to keep 2 of those 5 that I mentioned.
Yeah. So pick 2 of those 5. And, I mean, you got in there with me keeping the 2 running backs. And I think the news out of Denver with Jamal Charles this past week is great. And I love him. So I'm not afraid to keep him. And, I don't know. Is Smallwood any better or worse than Sterling Shepard? I mean, you read the stuff out of Philly trade, the camp. That Blunt's in the doghouse and Smallwood's not going to make the team. Oh, wait, he's going to be he's the only back they have who can play all 3 downs. I mean, I don't know. We'll see between now and Saturday what happens, but it's running back led league, and I would probably lean towards keeping those running backs, barring, having another great receiver behind Julio.
It pains me to say this, but This keeper list looks good, except for Jamal Charles. I look at that and I see Arian Foster on the Killers in 2016 all over again. You hold on to a guy, hoping, crossing your fingers that he's got a little life left, but you can't come to the emotional disconnect that this guy is done. And I got to do it with Brandon Marshall this year, so I know. And I should have done it with Foster last year, and I learned my lesson. This guy's done, and to see Sterling Shepard not part of that list is a shock to me. He's got to be up there, and I think, and I hate saying this out loud, but I think he will be, and I think he's going to be a good player for years to come.
We'll see.
Listen, I don't know why you're intent on helping a division rival here with your wisdom, but take Marvin Jones out of conversation. Marvin Jones is not going to be kept by Hank or anyone else. And Hank has an interesting situation because not only is Booker hurt, and Charles looks good right now. He's got the guy starting the season, right? Is it a 3 games or 4 game suspension? It's at least 3.
3.
Okay.
3
And
games.
he's got 2 Titans.
Yep.
I would have liked to see Hank try to trade one of those Titan running backs. Maybe he did. I don't know. See what he could get for one for as far as value. But based on his roster as it stands, I think you're justified in keeping the 5 running backs.
But Chief,
which 5? Who knows? It's hard to see Devontae Booker so young being cashiered at the expense of Jamal Charles. But whatever, you're in it to win it this year, and if that's the way you're feeling it's going to be, then that's wonderful.
If I didn't have the Doug Martin suspension problem, I would probably keep Booker, as well. But I need somebody who can play, and Booker can't play the first 3 weeks at least, or first 6, right? He's on the PUP list, so I need somebody who can play. And it sounds like Jamal Charles is at least going to play. So,
no, I agree.
And yes, I love him. I'm absolutely admitting, and as Berto said with Arian Foster, sometimes you can't quit guys, and okay, fine. This is supposed to be fun, and I like Jamal Charles. And when he's running it up against the Killers, I'm going to call you and harass you and enjoy it more than anything in the world.
I'm sure you will, but I don't see it happening. He's mark it down. He's this year's Arian Foster.
All right. Well, I hope you're wrong.
All right. Steel City Mongols are next up here. They have what I think is a big keeper conundrum at wide receiver. I'm going to give you 4 names. You tell me which 2 they're going to keep. Randall Cobb, longtime Steel City Mongol. Larry Fitzgerald. Corey Coleman in Cleveland. And Jamison Crowder. Which 2 of those 4 are you keeping? Cobb, Coleman, Crowder, Fitzgerald.
Coleman and Crowder.
Coleman, Fitzgerald.
I'm Coleman and Crowder going
I'm
younger.
sorry.
I think Fitzgerald is great, but I wouldn't keep him.
I should say Cobb and Fitzgerald. I don't see too much from Coleman, besides the fact that he's young and he's on the way up.
Hmm.
To say he's a keeper receiver right now.
As you guys know, and as our listeners will see, I've got it as Fitzgerald and Coleman. I could make a big case for Crowder. Cobb, I think, is probably the least likely to be kept from a objective standpoint. But I suspect, the Mongols may have some love for Cobb after all these years, and may want to hold on to him for one more time. Okay, one more quick keeper conundrum or keeper analysis, and then we'll get into a mock draft and wrap things up. I promised we would talk about the Brandon Cooks, Isaiah Crowell trade. This is perhaps a good time to do it. Just in looking at the keeper lists of the Beavers, who may have already submitted their keeper list, the Sponge Fishermen, who continue to make trades. Sponge Fishermen have an issue, obviously, with Andrew Luck and his availability early in the season. May need to go prioritize a quarterback in the draft. But you've gone out, you've added Crowell in that trade. You added Jonathan Stewart tonight. Do you feel like you got a much stronger keeper list today, Chief?
Yes. Based on the fact that Kenneth Dixon really screwed me here. Last year at the draft, I acquired Luck. It cost me a first round pick. I put it off to this draft, right? So I could not afford to miss that number 5 overall pick last year. I got the guy I wanted. I wanted Dixon. I got him, and it just went to shit. Before that, I don't like the fact that Cook's coming to New England. That's a lot of mouths to feed. I don't think he's ever going to have the volume to have big fantasy numbers. And of course, this is why Edelman was healthy. And, I knew he had some trade value, he had some name value. The fact that I was able to get one of the few 3-down running backs, really, or, heavy usage running backs in the league for him was great. But it all comes back to that Dixon injury. Once I lost him, and it was going to be for the year, not having a first-round pick needing to draft a quarterback higher than I normally like to. I want to try to get that fourth running back on the roster before the draft. I tried to acquire a lot of them. It was hard. And, Stick, you sent that email about a week ago saying how the guys on the panel are all keeping 4 running backs. And so I didn't even think of Stewart. I figured keeping him. Now you sent this email out this morning, and he wasn't on a keeper list. I thought, maybe we have an opportunity here to do something. But yeah, I think I'm in better shape. Obviously, otherwise we wouldn't have done it, right? I think I'm in better shape going into draft than I was 7 days ago.
The luck injury is brutal for Chief. There's nothing you can do about that, but that hurts. And if that lingers, that obviously hurts the upside. But that's done, and you got to hope that's for not just this year, but going forward. Yeah, I think Chiefs, you swapping out Stewart, swapping out Golden Tate for Stewart, that's an upgrade.
It's the spun. Chief is.
Hello, Michael.
Hey.
He's
Sorry
back.
about that. Are we better?
You're great.
All right, good. So what are we talking about?
Football. We're gonna have we're gonna pick players.
I made a very reasonable about the Adams couple years ago.
Yeah, good. Good for you.
So the last 3 days, I've gone from Bennett as keepers to Devontae Adams and Stewart. So yeah, I think that's
The Devontae Adams is going to turn out to be a good one, Chief. That was well done. I think that is going to help with the top numbers with that's well done. And hopefully that's the luck issue for a few weeks.
Berto, are you back?
I'm here.
I'm here in the air.
Oh, we got a big speakers that we're talking to, and Michael's speakers to give us feedback. Go ahead.
We're gonna have to better.
Thanks.
Hello.
Is that any better?
Hello.
No.
It's better. It's better for me.
No, it is. That's good.
I just changed my speakers,
Okay.
so maybe that was the problem.
All right. So let's get into round. I have sent around, or we'll send around the full projected list that we're working off. You'll have to make your judgments. If you've got a different keeper list in mind, you can adjust as we go here. But so I've been getting questions from various people in the top 5 this year. I think there's a lot of confusion among the people drafting in the top 5. How to rank those top rookie running backs. We have an exceptional rookie running back class. Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, Christian McCaffrey, Kareem Hunt suddenly made that top tier. Five running back start right away in the NFL lineup. But how do you rank? I've heard people on this panel. I've heard 2 people on this panel suggest that Dalvin Cook should be the number 1 overall pick. I kind of disagree with that, but even at the top, I might think Leonard Fournette is a slam dunk, but then you certainly are going to argue 2 through 5. So I've asked each of you guys, give me your top 5 picks in order. Let's help out the owners who are drafting in the top 5. Berto, why don't you start us off?
Okay. So Fournette, number 1. He may not wind up being the best, but I think you have to take him at number 1. I mean, that's just the way it is. You can't not take him, and then this is the guy who is the next LaDainian Tomlinson. So you got to take him, and that's that.
I thought you were one of the people questioning.
No, I never did.
Okay.
Never. Then I would say Cook at 2. Big, fast, strong. He's got opportunity. Minnesota, no issue there. And then you can pretty much say the same thing about Mixon as you can say for Cook, except the off-field issues. And Jeremy Hill is still there. And Jeremy Hill has, and I know he's a killer, but listen, he's gotten 9 TDs, multiple years, and he's still a factor. So I go Fournette, Cook, Mixon. Then I go Hunt. Opportunity, Andy Reid, running backs are always productive. And clearly the injury to Ware puts him as the guy. And then 5th is McCaffrey. Again, very talented. But you got competition at the goal line with Cam. And again, with our league being touchdown dependent, this is not a PPR. McCaffrey loses some value, but again, still a talented guy.
Hank, quickly, I agree with a lot of what Burrow says. I'm Fournette for sure, number 1. I already made the mistake of drafting the Viking as a homer pick over the number 1 running back with Michael Bennett over LT. Not doing that. So Fournette, Cook, and then I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey. I think he's more of a stable influence. The Carolina offense is good. I hear what Burrow's saying about the loss of touchdowns to Cam at the goal line. I'm not worried about that. I think McCaffrey's pretty good. I want nothing to do with Mixon. Mixon to me is a disaster waiting to happen. He's also got Hill, and then we keep forgetting about Giovanni Bernard as somebody who can play. I put Mixon last. I think Hunt with the opportunity in Kansas City is great. I could totally see him being 3rd ahead of McCaffrey. But Mixon is way down for me.
Chief.
Well, since the other 2 went Fournette first, and I expect Ralph will take Fournette first, I'm going to say Cook first. I would take Cook first. Listen, the NFL's changing. It's not put your head down and charge into the line anymore. You got to be a back who can come out of the backfield, get those quick screens, got to be stay on the field for 3 downs. I think Cook is that kind of guy. How much faith do you have in the Jaguars turning it around? I mean, LaDainian was going through a bad situation, but he had a good coaching staff. You could see through it trending upwards. He had a good defense in San Diego. Jacksonville has none of that. They are terrible from management on down, and I have no faith they got to turn that around soon. So I'm going Cook 1, Fournette 2, Mixon 3. Mixon, take away the off the field stuff. He's the real deal. The only thing you wonder about Mixon is, unless you think that his past issues are indicative of a future suspension coming on down the line, you take him 3. He's another guy who won't come off the field. Doesn't need to come off the field. Number 4, I have Kareem Hunt. I think that's probably universal. Hunt in the number 4 slot right now. I think I had him at number 5 before, the injury to Spencer Ward. And I've got, I don't know, Samari Perine, number 5. Washington's funny. They like to alternate between big, fat, slow, plodding guys and lighter, more athletic, slashing guys who can't fit into the football. And they get dissatisfied and go back to the other way. I don't think Rob Kelly's got very long for the Redskins or the NFL, to be frankly. He's the most unathletic running back I've seen in quite some time. So I think Perine is there. And, Ralph likes to think he has an in with Washington management. And I can easily see that happen. I think my 5A, if it wasn't Ralph in that slot, if it was someone like the Lizards, someone like the Wheels, someone like the Giant Killers, I think that's a place for Marshawn Lynch to go.
So McCaffrey is sliding way down your list.
Well, outside top 5 or top 6, yes.
Top 6.
I got him at number 7 to the Dirt Devils.
Yeah. I think the Dirt Devils should be thrilled with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my top 5 real quick, Fournette, Cook, Mixon, McCaffrey, Hunt. So it sounds like most of you guys have Hunt up a spot, but have differing people below him. McCaffrey may be at the biggest risk of falling more than I thought here. We will see. So let's agree that.
Is the guest going to weigh in, or did I miss him?
I don't know if our guest can weigh in.
All right, Michael, give it a shot.
Are we better?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been following the running backs, to be honest, because I know there's no chance I'm getting any of them. But I guess I'd probably go with Fournette. I guess I'd probably go with Hunt.
Wow.
Number 2, just to switch it up a little bit. I mean, Kansas City's going to have a good team, and he has a pretty wide open job, so why not just to switch it up? And I think McCaffrey has a lot of talent, so I go with him number 3, probably Cook, and then like I think Phil said, Mixon's in a pretty crowded backfield. Off-field issues, I really don't want anything to do with him. After that, probably I guess Kareem. Be a good choice.
Isn't there another rookie too? Kareem, and isn't there somebody else?
Or did I miss Cook?
No, you got Cook in there.
Yeah, Cook too.
I'd Hunt 2.
That should be all the first. The first
Hunt 2, McCaffrey 3, Cook 4, Mixon. I guess Mixon 5.
So all in all, I'm not sure we've helped the owners out there who are debating all these players.
Other than Kareem Hunt at 4, we know that.
Right.
But whoever the Sens take at number 2 is going to be a bust.
Then please don't take Cook, Kramer. Please.
What Kareem Hunt's ascension does is it kind of guarantees Ralph adding 2 fairly strong rookie running backs to Ezekiel Elliott and Melvin Gordon. He's going to be
Ralph has the 1 and 5
running backs.
And let's be clear, Ezekiel Elliott's not missing games this year. That would be, slapped an injunction across that, appealed. There's no way he's missing any games in 2017. So Ralph's in pretty good shape right now. He could go other directions. He could go with Marshawn Lynch number 5. He could go with the best receiver on the board at number 5.
Yeah, he'll have options there.
I'm thinking Michael should mute except when he's jumping in.
All right, there we go.
There we go.
Mute him. We've had to mute Michael. We got the mute text all coming in at the same time. All right. So sorry, Michael. Okay. So we don't have consensus on the top 5 picks, but do any of us have them?
I think mine is.
Not one of us gets to make one of these picks.
We don't. No. So, but I think minus Chief, there is consensus that it's for in some order: Fournette, Cook, Mixon, McCaffrey, Hunt.
Yes, in some order.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's pretend those 5 guys are off the board. Let's pretend my keeper lists are what the keeper lists actually end up being.
Mm-hmm. You
don't have to agree with me right now, but let's just all work from the same base.
Yep.
So the number 6 pick in this draft, let me make sure I got this right, belongs to the Boba Fats. Number 7 is the Dirt Devils. I'm just going to assign one of you to make each of these picks as we go. Let's do this efficiently. Go through the first round if we can. Again, so number 6, Boba Fats. Those 5 rookie running backs are off the board. This is a team that presumably needs a running back, like most franchises. Mm-hmm. Who do they take? I'm going to work left to right for me. Berto, make a pick for the Boba Fats here.
So I'm up. I will go Ty Montgomery.
Fun.
I think that makes a lot of sense. All right, number 7, as I said, is the Dirt Devils. I'll tell you what, I'm going to make this pick because I, as of at least a week or so ago, had texted Nick about this. I think the decision here is probably somebody like Marshawn Lynch or Samaje Perine.
He's going to take Perine as the Redskins homer, no?
He's going to take Marshawn Lynch in that scenario.
Can I just comment on Lynch for a minute?
Please.
If I may?
Why we're here?
This is my, if I had my shoes on, I'd be pounding the desk of the bust of the first round will be Marshawn Lynch.
Not interested in football, you don't think?
He's done. I mean, this guy was a killer 2 years ago, and I was watching him, and I honestly was rooting for Rawls to get in the game because Marshawn Lynch looked every bit the part of a spent running back. And now you add to the fact that he had a year off of football. If there was ever a Steven Jackson pick, like the Sens did in 2014, picking him, or Emmitt Smith in 2004 to the Beavers, this is the pick. And this is the bust of the first round draft for whoever takes him.
Nice.
Or this could be a big smoke screen because I want to get him at 11. One or the other.
Okay, so number 8 then is the Aliens. Let me hand that over to Chief.
Well, the way the board is right now, that's Samari Perrine is a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Samaje Perrine 8 to the Aliens, who, as we've talked about, are only going to be keeping 3 running backs, 4 receivers. One of those running backs being LeGarrette Blount, who's got some sudden question marks. All right, number 9 spot, Steel City Mongols. Hank, you're on the clock.
Well, the Mongols, we have them keeping a balanced team, right? And we're clear with the rookies, right?
Yep.
I mean, you guys are laughing, but this is, why wouldn't he take Adrian Peterson? If he needs a running back, or if this is going to be somebody that he can plug in for Lacey or Powell or Freeman, or he could do something like take the best tight end on the board, which I think we talked about that being Greg Olsen, who's available. Mm-hmm. So why don't we give him Greg Olsen? Because he does not have a TE being protected.
All right.
Wait, Stick, just refresh my memory. Who's picked so far? Montgomery.
Ty Montgomery to the Boba Fats. Marshawn Lynch to the Devils at 7. Samaje Perrine to the Aliens at 8. Greg Olsen to the Mongols at 9. That puts Hank and the K-Wheels on the clock at 10. Let's come back to you. Let's go out of division here. Let's let Chief make this pick.
Mm-hmm.
For the K-Wheels.
Well, he's got all kinds of running backs kept. So he's, got his choice of receivers on the board. The way your keepers shook out, the best guy I see there is Jeremy Maclin.
Okay, Jeremy Maclin to the K-Wheels, the first receiver off the board in this draft. Just had our first.
Is that who you got first, the receiver? Who's your top receiver?
Well, I'll be honest with you, it was Cameron Meredith, but now it's Willie Snead, Brandon Marshall, Moncrief.
Yeah. By the way, Willie Snead's available.
Can be had. Nice.
I'll mute myself now.
You don't have to mute yourself. I mean, you sounded fine there.
All right. Well, let's have the Hormel Hams make our next pick then here. So number 11 is Jack's Giant Killers. Maybe Michael even has some inside information from all the fish shows.
I don't have any inside information, but since he just said it, I'll give him Willie Snead.
Willie Snead.
So suddenly we're going away from the running backs here. So then we wrap up the first round at number 12. This is the Lizards again. Somewhere at number 4, they took one of those rookie running backs. Sounds like Kareem Hunt is the favorite at number 4. Who do they take here at number 12? Whose turn is it, Hank?
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. If he's there, the Lizards are taking him.
And the Lizards would be pumped. That would be their 4th running back, right?
Yeah, and they're stacked at receiver. It makes too much sense. It's a nostalgic pick. It's everything.
Yeah, I put the sticker on the board right there on that one. That's good.
I don't know.
What do you got, Chief?
I don't know. Well, they're keeping 2 running backs, right?
Right,
Yeah.
Howard and Perkins.
Right. And is Peterson a guy who can start every week? Maybe he is.
Somebody that can plug in, you know, and we already took Greg Olson off the board. Is there another tight end you really like? I mean, I think Richie's got to take somebody there who can start at running back.
Well, for that reason, but I guess I'm alone in the Jack Quiz Rogers train. But you know, he's a guy who's definitely a starter and a guy who's gonna get points. Again, Peterson also is a possibility. I don't want to say Peterson's a bad pick. He's not. I just don't think it's a slam dunk.
Well, maybe, you know, and who knows? Maybe Richie has different ideas in terms of what he wants. You know, okay, so Theo Riddick. You know, I mean, I think he's got to take somebody who's going to play there.
Remember that Richie had Emmitt Smith for a long time. And when Smith was in this part of career, he was ready to move on. He didn't want him. He was adamant about not getting Smith again. Even though, you know, he's had him from his rookie year probably.
Okay.
So he doesn't really have the sentimental attachment a lot of us do.
That's a good, Chief. That's a good piece of information, actually, and I wasn't aware of that, and I wasn't accounting for that. But okay. But I'll also say Peterson makes sense.
It does. He's a good pick.
He makes sense on other levels, but if you're discounting the sentimental piece of it, then that, you know, then maybe it doesn't happen.
I'm not discounting that. I guess that definitely factors into where I would say that Richie would definitely grab him for a number of reasons, but that reason too.
All right, so I'm kind of tempted to plow ahead 6 more picks to get to the first pick for the Hormel Hams.
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, so Tom, let's go.
We're getting long in the webcast, gentlemen.
This is going to be a long webcast.
Move along.
Let's go real quick here. Number 13, for the top of the second round, is going to be the AMPAC, a team that has already gotten 2 rookie running backs, as we've discussed. Let me make this pick here to speed things along. If I'm the AMPAC, I think they're probably thinking receiver here. Why not come away from this draft with the top rookie receiver, Corey Davis, Christian McCaffrey, Leonard Fournette? That's a nice haul. That's who I'm giving them. Senators, second pick here in the second round. Again, they took a rookie running back at number 2 overall. They're rebuilding. Hank, you're out of division for them. Why don't you make a pick for the Senators?
See, they're going to want somebody they can build with here too, but also somebody who can play. Without thinking too hard on it, I don't think we've taken. Why don't we go ahead and give him Dante Moncrief as a good player? He can start and potentially could be good.
Okay.
Is Steven Jackson playing this year?
He is available.
That's the spot.
Jackson.
For what it's worth, Moncrief, might offset Andrew Luck when Luck comes back twice a year in that division. Slippery Beavers, third pick in the second round, number 15 overall. It's a good Beavers keeper list. They've added a top rookie running back at number 3 overall. Berto, why don't you make a pick for the Beavers here?
I don't think the Beavers have a tight end, do they? So let's go first tight end off the board, Travis Kelce.
No, Kelsey's
I've got Kelce being protected.
Kelsey's being kept and Olsen.
Second. Probably Hunter.
I think the Fats keep Travis Kelce.
Henry Hunter, or let's go Hunter.
Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry.
You talking that Hunter Henry for the Chargers?
Hunter Henry, yes. Chargers, tight end.
Okay.
Got it.
Sponge Fisherman now up at number 16 overall. Welcome to the draft, Sponge Fisherman. They've just acquired another veteran running back, so they're a well-balanced keeper list. Chief does historically tend to lean receiver with his first picks. Who do we want to make this pick? Michael Giovenko. I'm gonna break my in-division rule here, but I want to hear from our guest one more time.
I'll give him Martavius Bennett. Bryant.
Martavius Bryant. Okay. I confess to Hank today, I think Bryant is my top-ranked veteran receiver out there. Probably a bit of a homer pick for me, but I think he will go fairly early in the second round.
I personally think Ralph Gibson.
That's a possibility too. If he could let Russell Wilson go.
Let Tyreek Hill go.
Keenan Allen.
All right, so number 17 overall, 5th pick in the second round. Their first pick in this draft. Welcome to the draft, Hormel Hams. Since Michael drafted for the Sponge, Chief, why don't you take a pick here for the Hams? Their first pick, very talented Hams team, balanced Hams team. Who do they take?
Let me look at the keeper list really quick. Actually, I shouldn't have to. Yeah, I don't think we're ready to start the secondary run on. See, I still have on my mock draft as a Mongols pick, so I'm really not prepared for this. I haven't done a mock in a while. But I think they're clearly in position to take the best player on their board. And I don't know who that might be.
You've been pounding the table for Jacquizz, but I don't think he's the right fit for this game.
I don't think that opinion is shared by all.
That's not the right
fit. I think right here that I don't see a running back right now they really need to take. They're in my opinion, the best team on paper in the TFFL. So they should probably take the player that's going to best help them win again. So I'm going to go with Randall Cobb right here.
I like that. Randall Cobb was what I was thinking.
All right, that's a wrap for our live mock draft.
We don't want to keep going?
No, we're done.
Let me get you a trivia answer, and then we will get out of here within 2 or 3 minutes. So, the special request question of the week. When did the Senators last make the playoffs? 1 point for the correct answer.
2015.
I got 2012, 5 years ago.
I think it's the 2 division rivals who got this correct. It was not that long ago. It was 2015. The Senators
and the guest
went 8.
Yeah, that was when I beat him. I think it was the last week to win the division.
He won the wild card spot that year, not the division.
I think the question was winning record, not playoffs. But I don't suspect they make it.
Winning record.
Yeah, he was 7-6. I think
the answer is the same. He was 8-5. He was 8-5. So he went 8-5 in 2015. In the spirit of the question, I think I should reveal that in the last 8 years, the Senators have only made the playoffs twice, 2015 and 2011, I believe, 8-5 both times. So that's a wrap. I hope everybody got, I think, a lot of valuable insights out of this. We had a trade made on air.
Hank, get this down. Point.
Yeah, I'm getting it down.
Yeah, point for the guest, too.
Hang on.
Yeah, what is the standings?
We can do some TFFL trivia standings here. That we kind of undersold on the start of this. As it stands, following tonight's question, is that the lead is tied with Hank and Chief have 2 correct answers. Berto and the guest each have 1.
You guys are just lucky. I don't play every week.
No, you are, and we won't let you.
Dick, who asked that question?
I did. I was talking about the Senators and how I'm looking at their keeper list, and it's a bunch of mediocrity. I mean, you got Brady, who's clearly their best player. All right. But
Our
then
weekly
you got
Sounders bashing.
a bunch of guys that, I like Calvin Benjamin because I like him, but who do you love on this team? Who you look at, and we can, I don't want to nitpick too much, but that got me thinking. I was like, the Senators have kind of been like this for a while, haven't they? Where they're just kind of floating along. But Brady has been good.
But I do have one other comment. Just talking about throw out some trade ideas here. Another one, like why doesn't I'll throw it to you, Stick. Why don't you trade for Brady?
I can't
I mean,
offer.
that seems to make so much sense.
I love this. Let's keep this webcast going all night. Let's do a marathon.
Marathon.
God, tomorrow's the one day I have to go to the office.
I can't offer what Kramer's going to want for Brady. I know that.
That's the
I'm
problem.
not willing to offer that much.
What do you think he wants?
I've been telling Kramer, you gotta unload Brady. I don't know how many we've gone back and forth on some trades, ridiculous stuff on both ends. Granted, he sends me crap, I send him crap right back. But he should unload Brady, and I told him that. Honestly, one team that I was thinking about was the Lizards. They're so dominant. You add Brady to that team, man, and that's a really the team that could be unstoppable in my opinion. But anyway, he's got to unload. He should unload him. This is the year to do it, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Might be a mid-season kind of thing.
Could be a mid-season kind of thing, as we'll see what happens with Brady, but somebody's going to need a quarterback as we move along here. Hopefully, it's not me, because Kramer will want a lot for him.
Actually, I think at this point, Kramer, if he really is going to trade him at some point, is probably better served waiting until mid-season.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just
hold him.
We're like what 9 days from. I mean, we're less than that from the Patriots' first game, right? You really want to cashier your season before you even start playing? Let's wait till he loses 2, 3, 4 games, and then start clearing house. If he doesn't get the pieces and the draft picks he wants right now, which apparently he's not that he's not asking too much.
Sorry, I muted Michael. We have set a record for the TFL webcast on most times muted tonight. Congratulations, Michael Giovedico. You're the new record holder.
Well, that's only because you kept unmuting him. but at this point, I mean, try to win. You never know what's going to happen.
If Tom Brady has
but you also have to be realistic too. I mean,
maybe nails the draft. No reason to give up hope already.
I guess.
Yeah, you have to be realistic too.
Well, he has what? He has the 2 pick, so he's figuring he's going to get Cook or Mixon, whoever he likes there at 2, and then he has another early pick.
I don't think he picks again until the second round.
Okay, until 13.
But
well, and he'll have TJ Yeldon, so he'll be in great shape.
right.
So I mean, wouldn't I don't know. If I was him, I'd take a second-round pick for Brady.
But what you could, but what are you going to get with that second-round pick? And Brady's his only point getter right now.
I get it.
And wait, because if after week 3, Drew Brees is in a pile of bones, and all of a sudden the Hams are a quarterback away. That first and player to be named later looks pretty good for Tom Brady.
Yeah. Hey, I went through that last year. You're right. Other teams will go through it. So you're probably right. He's best waiting at this point.
Had to happen. I'm sorry.
then you go out and you get Matt Ryan.
Take us home, Stick.
Right. All right. So we're at an hour and a half almost. So let's wrap this up.
We're out of practice.
We're gonna be seeing lots of each other very soon.
I think we could go 3 hours. Come on, let's do it.
We could. I don't know if anybody else would keep watching. I don't know if anybody is still watching.
But we've lost our entire viewership at this point.
So if you're still here, let me just reinforce, pay your dues. I think we're down to a few owners. Pay your dues, get your keepers in. If for no other reason than a favor to me, send your keeper lists to the league when you report them to the commissioner. Get your, if you've got keepers who are playing in that Thursday night game, announce those starters. Make sure you got your travel plans nailed down for Myrtle Beach. We're almost here on Thursday, the 31st. That will be a week from our arrival. So we're getting there. 1 week to go in just a couple hours here. Looking forward to it. Best of luck in your final trades. We're having our pre-draft dinner in a couple nights. We may pull off a few final ones like we did last year. Good luck with your keeper conundrums. And we'll see everybody very soon. Looking forward to draft weekend down in Myrtle Beach. Take care, everybody.
Hey, Michael, you going to join us for dinner? Michael, you going to join us for dinner on Thursday? Are you?
Good night, everybody.
No, don't stick.
All right.
Good night.